trying to do, or what this collaboration of CodeChef is doing in your campus, right? So earlier, as I mentioned, CodeChef is in the industry for past 16 years. We have been famous for something called competitive programming. Now, the advantage is that for any particular topic, right? I think in your first year, you'll have basic programming language. Future in further semesters, you have data structures and algorithm, advanced DA or DBMS, or any particular programming language that is set as per your curriculum will have a certain number of problems to be covered in the lab, right? So when you're learning a particular topic, when certain topics are added as per the curriculum, what Coach found is that those 10 or 20 problems are not enough to get a good fundamentals of a particular topic. For example, if you are learning programming using a basic programming language that is, say, C programming, right? With C programming, when you're learning C, there are hardly 10 or 20 problems designed as per your curriculum. But the objective of learning a programming language is to understand or help you familiarize with the language, or the objective of keeping the particular programming language in the first semester is that later in your highest semesters, when you learn data structures and algorithm or complex programming topics, you should be able to code it out using what you have learned, right? So all the language that you know, or look at programming in such a way that it is just a tool to solve a particular topic. Now, say till 12th, you have learned your mathematics. In mathematics, there were multiple problems. Sure, in your first, second standard, third standard, etc., they would have given you questions directly to solve, add these two numbers, multiply these two numbers, etc. But later, when you're in a fourth, sixth standard, it's the problem statement given. Like somebody has got six mangoes, each mango costs 10 rupees, then what's the cost of total mangoes, right? There, it's your understanding that its multiplication is what is required, and you multiply these numbers and you get the answer. Similarly, when you're learning a particular programming language, in the first couple of classes, you'll have very basics, or the topic will ask you to implement something directly. After that, maybe in your higher semester, while you are going for placements, these questions will change, because none of the recruiter will ask you to, define something, because the recruiters are not looking at your memory power. That's the least thing they want to know. They are more interested to understand what have you learned in this whole 4 years. How good are you at implementing that? Now, with this particular topic, whatever is you are learning, you will be learning in such a way that you learn exactly as per your curriculum and implement in such a way that, or practice yourself or make able yourself in such a way that later when you are attempting your placement drives, these topics that you have learned will help you excel in your placement drives, right? So again, placement is a secondary thing. The main objective is to teach you the topic, correct? Now, why code chef is that I'll explain you how the academic labs are etc are integrated to code chef. But primary thing that you'll have to notice is that the advantage that you'll get by being associated with code chef, right? So anybody who is associated with code chef, or as per you'll have a login credentials from the college. With that, if you go to this particular tab called courses, right, you could see anything and everything listed on CodeChef. So, for example, in your first semester, as per the curriculum, they could be learn Python as the programming language, but you are open to learn any other programming language of your preference. As per your curriculum, you are required to learn that lab. So that will run as per your academics, that will run in your lab. But outside your lab, you could learn anything and everything on CodeChef. So it's not just restricting you to any particular programming language. Say somebody who want to learn Java right from the first semester, you have an option to do that, right? Going forward, if somebody is interested to learn development from the first semester itself, nobody is stopping you to do that, right? So there will be certain topics which the college will ask you to learn that. Other than that, to upskill yourself, you can choose any of the topic from our learning path and do that. Why we ask you to do that? It's as simple as you are competing against each other, competing against other college, competing against each and every student who is coming out of their college in the final year in a year, right? In India, at least more than a lakh of students are passing out every year, and unfortunately, there aren't so much jobs to satisfy this requirement. Hence, if you don't stand out, you will be pulled out. Yeah. So those topics which are available on CodeChef is what you'll be we are offering you as one of the premium topics which you can learn from your end. Now, once you've learned something, obviously the next part is practice. So learn topics, you'll have few concepts, you'll have few theories which you have to learn as part of the program. Once learned, then next part is to ensure that you have more expertise in those topics, hence you will practice there. So that's what you do in this particular tab, that is the practice tab. Scrolling down, you could see multiple topics which will have problems to practice. Later, once you are in your second year or third year, it will help you to practice for your placements. That's interview questions. So when you say interview questions, you'll understand this better in the later semesters, but just give you a basic overview. Not every company would be preferring someone who is expert in all the domains. Every company will have a specific requirement. So when a particular company is visiting to your college for placement, your placement team will advise you saying that this particular company is looking for somebody who is good at Java, somebody who's good at Python, somebody who's good at C++, somebody who's good at data structures and algorithms, somebody who's good at web technology. There could be different streams that a particular company would be looking for. There would be companies who will be looking for people in all the streams. I'm not saying that, but most of the companies will have a specific requirement, right? Gone are those days where all your TCS, Infi, Cognizant, Wipro, etc., comes and hire like hundreds of people. So this, by the time this first year student reaches final year, the effect of AI in the market will have a great hit, and you'd see that the count of people hired by these service-oriented companies being reducing. Having said that, the demand of people who has good competency in this programming, etc., would increase because now your first year programming language, basic programming language, was one of the barrier for somebody who want to build something but don't know that particular language, correct? But right now, with AI coming in, you just have to update the system a particular logic, and the system gives you the code for that, correct? Now, the advantage of knowing basics of a programming language wouldn't just help. You would need more and more understanding of the topic. So, if you need more and more understanding of the topic, then you should make sure that you know the fundamentals very clear, and you should make sure that you're learning advanced topics. Now, with that, when you say advanced topics, you could have a basic idea about how questions are asked in this section. So, it's something called interview questions where you could practice more problems there. These set of questions will get updated year on year, month on month. Whatever update we get we update these particular portal. So whatever collaboration CoachF has with the colleges is a subset of what CoachF is actually doing, right? There are people who come to CoachF directly to our platform to understand or to learn topics. So we build content for those people, right? So when we are building content for those people, which means that our content should be top notch, else we wouldn't expect more people to join the platform. Hence, when you are collaborating with CoachF, you will know that all those content which you get are well set, well customized as per the industry requirement, and we'll make sure that it's well updated so that you are not left out. But the advantage is that all those things are done through your academics. So the basic question of out of syllabus definitely will be there because expect that in your interview, but pretty much we can make sure that you've covered everything in your syllabus. So again, these topics will help you later in your placements, etc. But you could see questions asked by the companies or top man companies like Amazon, Microsoft, Google, Adobe, Flipkart, TCS CodeVita as one such competition. All such questions you could see what all it's not that you practice these 10-20 questions and you'll be able to master an interview in Microsoft. Rather, it will give you a basic idea on what you could expect during an interview for Google, Microsoft, Amazons of the world, right? So you'll be able to do such topics. Now, something very critical we have built recently is called projects. Now, projects, the reason we are saying is a premium offering is because imagine a scenario where you have learned a basic programming language and you are preparing, it's basically understanding the fundamentals and learning for the further part, correct? Now, imagine a scenario where you're sitting in front of the recruiter during a placement drive and you are explaining to the recruiter scenario one, you are explaining to the recruiter what have you learned, how many marks you have scored, what's your interest, etc., and so on. And imagine a scenario two where you are speaking to them based on what all projects that you have built. Now look at what's the recruiter's job. They are trying to hire somebody where the engineering team or a particular team for a company would have updated the recruiter that we are looking for so and so person. Now it's the recruiter's job conduct an interview and make sure that those people, those requirements are met. Now when you are speaking to them, so they need somebody who has good knowledge in Python. Imagine that is a criteria. Now, when that's happening, you're explaining to them that, sir, ma'am, these are the projects I have done using Python. So that will grab the attention of a recruiter. So they also want to know it's not just how many marks you have scored in your first year, first semester Python, rather, what all do you know? And it's not again the definition of what all do you know, rather, how can you implement something of what you have learned? For that, projects will help you. So when the interview is in such a way that you're explaining the capabilities of those projects, then the entire vibe of the interview, I would say, would change entirely, and you will have the entire control of the interview. Because whatever topic, whatever projects you have done on CodeChef, sorry, on a particular programming language, those interviewers would ask more and more questions based on those projects because those things are directly matching to the requirement of the interviewer. They might be looking for somebody who's good at Python. So only thing that they could do is that during an interview, ask you more questions regarding Python and keep it there. Rather, when you're explaining them that this is what I've built, this is what I know with a live example, they would be more than happy to hire you. I don't think there would be any other challenge based on your scores, based on your marks, based on your backlogs, nothing. If their requirement is met, I don't think they would care much. But to reach there, you'd have this project building mentality. The first year, say you have something called, if you're learning basic Python in your first year, Python project for beginners. So these are the projects with whatever basic you've learned in your first year. Based on that, you can make small projects. Say, if you open that, you'll see, say, number guessing game, to create a calculator, to create a digital clock, to create a password generator, etc. So all these projects are very simple 10th standard, 12th standard level projects, but it will give you an idea that now you have learned some basics of a programming language. Now with what all basics that you have learned, how what can you build? Now everyone, I'm not sure if you have already got the code of access, etc. If not, in next couple of days you'll get it. Open this, and I'm telling you that once you start with projects immediately rather than your basic programming language, you'll know that what all you don't know. You'll go back to learn programming language, you'll learn a topic, and then come back. Once you know that what is the capabilities of the topics that you have learned, your interest will increase just like that. The main thing that we have seen as I've interacted with multiple training and placement officers, principals, HODs, etc., the common thing regarding computer science and engineering, what we get is that even though the students are in their final year, they are scared to write a code. They assume coding is something very difficult, which I'll not be able to do. This mentality will affect your entire journey, where I'm sure it affected my journey. Even I did BTech CSE, but I never coded outside my lab. I never went into any particular technical round. Even though I was placed in an with for a different role. And so I was never interested because I never got an exposure. Here you have an exposure. I'm not just telling that development, etc., is the only way to go ahead, but you need exposure in all the fields so that you have more clarity, then you can choose better. So with that part, the basic part of fear of coding, I can guarantee you that you'll overcome the fear of coding if you practice well on a platform like CodeChef. And not just CodeChef, there are multiple platforms. But here in this case, your college is collaborated with CodeChef, hence you have an exposure for that. Now, with those topics, when you started learning topics and when you don't restrict yourself to the topics that your faculties are just asking you to do, if like as per the curriculum there'll be those 20 problems that is required to do as per the curriculum. Just don't restrict yourself to those 10-20 problems. Explore the platform as much as possible. So you'll have many such orientation like this in future too. That also we can discuss in future, but right now just explore the platform as much as possible. With that, you'll be able to learn the programming, and you learn it in a funny way or an interesting or an engaging way, right? What I feel is that it's always when you are learning something, you learn it for the sake of marks, etc. And I've seen a challenge there in my personal journey, I would say. But if you find that learning has been fun, then your entire attitude changes. You would invest more time there, and it's more like puzzle solving, more problem solving. Coding is just a language that you use to do all that. Say, as simple as that, if you look at few topics on CodeChef, this is how a particular program or a problem statement will look on CodeChef. On left hand side, there'll be a problem statement, and on right side, you have an IDE to write the code. So this is a similar environment which you could expect during a technical round too. So for a company's round, there wouldn't be any particular no somebody from the company who comes to each and every student to check how he or she is doing. Rather, they will be associated with somebody like CodeChef with a platform. The platform will have problem statements. With respect to that, you'll read the problem statement and you'll write the answers for that. And the solution for that or the verdict for that answer can be shown immediately and you'll be coding it out. So this is what you could expect during a technical interview also. So right from first semester, the college or along with CodeChef, we are training you to how to excel in this. Right. Right now, for every topic, some of the problems you'll have a video solution on how this particular topic is done. So all these topics, the videos will be shown there on how to code it out, right? So the explanation of the code will be done over a video. Scrolling down, it will give a detailed explanation on how it's done, what is the logic behind this, and so on. Now, if you are stuck somewhere, you have the AI help also. So ChatGPT being everywhere, we are also using ChatGPT. But it is used in such a way that you understand the topics better, not the other way, wherein you are totally dependent on the GPT or AIs of the world, right? So any topic will be taught in such a way, and it will help you to understand the topic in a detailed format. So this is how the topics will be done. Now, something coach of oh, before that. So you see the completion certification, right? Certification on completion.
Is part of testing, inspection and certification and the provision by an independent body or written assurance that the product.
Yeah. So certification here, once you complete any particular topic, you will have a course completion certificate from CodeChef. Now, these course completion certificate, as I said, being in the industry for such a long time, many companies recognize these IT certifications, right? So once you complete a certification, download the certificate, upload it in your LinkedIn profile, etc. Keep your LinkedIn profile active so that later when an interviewer is looking into your profile, they'll understand that you are a person who is very much active in such platforms and you've got a course complete certificate, which means that you have known something better or you've done those additional effort to complete something, and that will give you an add-on advantage. Now, the primary reason why generally people come to CodeChef is to build a profile like this. You could see this profile is shareable for everyone. You could see how people use these profiles in their LinkedIn's, etc. So you could see somebody, this is my profile. I'm a 1 star on CodeChef. So CodeChef have star rating from 1 star to 7 star, and somebody with a 4 star, 5 star, etc. are said to be ideal candidates for a good product based company. Now, if you could search in LinkedIn, you could see how. So this is my LinkedIn profile. Like a recruiter search, I'm just searching CodeChef 5 star. Right. So here you could see, is it clearly visible for everyone? Yeah. So you could see somebody working at Goldman Sachs, ex Jaspe, ex OLX. They have updated along with the profile, CodeChef 5 star. You could see multiple people like that who is working for such an different organization updating their profiles here, right? So the core reason why people does that is that, like you show me the way I search coach of 5 star, you could also see recruiter searching like this. So recruiter also will search coach of 5 star and reach out to people who are in that better star rating. Now the advantage is that with a particular star rating, it doesn't matter which college are you from, what stream you have studied, how many marks you have scored, how many backlogs you have, nothing. A 5 star from Chalapathy is equivalent to a 5 star from IIT Bombay. As simple as that. Doesn't mean that he or she should have a good knowledge in computer science, nothing. If you are a 5 star on CodeChef, which means that you have a certain standard in problem solving, and hence you could be trusted as an employee. So this is what anybody is looking for on CodeChef, and this is what you get by participating in the contest. Now, how you get this star rating? That is by competing in our Wednesday starters. So for every Wednesday, 8 p.m. to 10 p.m., we have something called competitive programming contest. This happened for 2 hours. You could see. So this we have also got something called developer challenge, and we have something called competitive programming challenge. So for competitive programming, you could see number of people who are participating, 35,000, 37,000, etc., etc. And all these are people who are participating on CodeChef globally. It's not just restricted to South India, India, or any Asian country. It's totally open for everyone. Hence, the timing is set as 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. And then we've been conducting this session for good 10, 15 years. Now, participating in this section, each and every session will have like 8 to 10 problems based on your participation, based on how are you performing in these contests. You'll get star rating, and this star rating is what you will update in your CodeChef profile, or this profile is what you will show in your LinkedIn, etc. So even in the contest, like I showed you, on the left hand side there's a problem statement, and on the right hand side there's an IDE. That's where you'll code it out. So this participating in these contests will give you more advantage in the eyes of a recruiter when the college, or mainly the placement team, when they are when they are inviting a particular college, sorry, when they are inviting a particular company to your college, they'll share the list of uh, students who are actively participating in this contest, right? Yeah. So if we look here, you will find the count of people who are participating in the contest. And this is what your placement team will be sharing to a particular company while they are inviting them to your college. They'll say that, hey, if you come to my college, I'll have X number of people who are 5 star, Y number of people who are 4 star, Z number of people who are 3 star. And a particular corporate looking at the star rating, they know that okay, if this is the rating of a particular student in that college, the college might be doing really well. So let's give it a shot. Let's go there and hire a few people, right? So this is how the placement department uses most of CodeChef. And sure, as a student, this is accessible for you too. So you will be part of any particular, there'll be a roll number that you have. You can search the roll number and see where you're standing. You could also see where your friends are standing. So in that dashboard, you could see how each and every students of the college are participating. You could understand where do you stand. Then you'll know the need to upskill yourself, which you'll do. And the initial one I said, right, as per your curriculum, we'll be customizing the content. So say if it's your first year program, say that will be mm, sure your CIET Python. It's your first year Python program. So this is how your lab will look like. These set of problems will have those problems which we want you to practice, along with those topics which will help you understand the topic better, so that while practicing in such a way you'll have more clarity. So this how each and every topic is added on the platform. This how you'll be solving more and more problems here. Even by completing these problems, you'll get a course completion certificate, and you can also get other topics or course completion certificate by completing other topics too. So I think that will be all from my end. Any questions from anyone? Happy to answer.
ఈ చలపతి ఇన్స్టిట్యూట్ ఆఫ్ ఇంజనీరింగ్ అండ్ టెక్నాలజీ అనేది ఈ ఈ కాలేజీలో చేరిన విద్యార్థులందరికీ ప్రోగ్రామింగ్ నేర్పటానికి ఈ కోడ్ చెఫ్ ప్లాట్ఫామ్ అనేదాన్ని వాడుతున్నాం. ఈ కోడ్ చెఫ్ ప్లాట్ఫామ్ అనేది మన వెబ్సైటు, మనకి ఒక లాగిన్ ఐడి ఉంటుంది, పాస్వర్డ్ ఉంటుంది. మనం లాగిన్ అవుతూ ఉంటాము. అయినప్పుడు మన క్లాస్లో చెప్పే పాఠం ప్రోగ్రామింగ్ ప్రాబ్లమ్సే కాకుండా ఇంకా ఎక్స్ట్రా ప్రాబ్లమ్స్ మీరు ట్రై చేయాలనుకున్నప్పుడు ఈ కోడ్ చెఫ్లోకి వెళ్తే ఇక్కడ కావాల్సిన థియరీ ఉంటుంది, ప్లస్ ప్రాబ్లమ్స్ ఉంటాయి, కాంపిటీషన్స్ ఉంటాయి. తర్వాత మీరు మీకు ఎంతసేపు మీరు ప్రోగ్రామింగ్లో స్పెండ్ చేయాలనుకుంటే అంతసేపు స్పెండ్ చేయటానికి కావాల్సిన ప్రాబ్లమ్స్ అన్నీ అక్కడ ఉంటాయి అన్నమాట. మీరు రోజుకి 5 ప్రాబ్లమ్స్ చేయొచ్చు, 10 చేయొచ్చు, 50 చేయొచ్చు, 100 చేయొచ్చు. మీరు ఎన్ని ఎక్కువ చేస్తా ఉంటే మీ రేటింగ్ అంత పెరుగుతూ ఉంటుంది. ఒక స్టార్ రేటింగ్ దగ్గర నుంచి 7 స్టార్ రేటింగ్ దాకా ఉంటుందన్నమాట. 7 స్టార్ రేటింగ్ వచ్చిన వాళ్ళు ప్రోగ్రామింగ్లో చాలా బాగా నిపుణులు అని బయట ప్రపంచానికి తెలుస్తుందన్నమాట. ఇప్పుడు ఒక కంపెనీ మన కాలేజీకి ఇంటర్వ్యూకి రిక్రూట్ చేయడానికి వస్తున్నప్పుడు మనం ఏం చేస్తామంటే ఈ లిస్ట్ చూపిస్తాం. మా కాలేజీ స్టూడెంట్స్ కోడ్ చెఫ్లో వాళ్ళు ఏ స్టార్ వచ్చింది, వాళ్ళందరి స్టార్లు ఒకళ్ళకి 1 రావచ్చు, ఒకళ్ళకి 2 రావచ్చు, ఒకటి 3 రావచ్చు. వాళ్ళ లిస్ట్ ఇచ్చేస్తాం అన్నమాట. అప్పుడు ఆ కంపెనీ వాళ్ళు ఏంటంటే మీకు 7 స్టార్ ఉంటే ఇతను పక్కాగా నైపుణ్యం కలిగిన ప్రోగ్రామింగ్లో నైపుణ్యం కలిగిన స్టూడెంట్ అని వాళ్ళకి తెలిసిపోతుందన్నమాట. అప్పుడు మీ సెలక్షను చాలా ఈజీ అవుతుందన్నమాట. అందుకని ఫస్ట్ ఇయర్ నుంచే మీరు కాలేజీలో క్లాస్‌లో చేరంగానే ప్రోగ్రామింగ్ సబ్జెక్ట్ ఉంటది. అది స్టార్ట్ అవ్వంగానే మీకు దీంట్లో ఐడీ, పాస్వర్డ్ ఇచ్చేస్తారు. ఇచ్చేస్తే మీరు ఇంటి దగ్గర ల్యాప్‌టాప్ ఉంటే ల్యాప్‌టాప్‌లో చేసుకోవచ్చు. సమ్‌టైమ్స్ మీకు సెల్ ఫోన్, హ్యాండ్ ఫోన్ ఉంటే హ్యాండ్ ఫోన్‌లో కూడా చేసుకోవచ్చు. ఈ ప్రాబ్లమ్ సాల్వింగ్ అనేది మీరు ఎంత ఎక్కువ సేపు టైమ్ స్పెండ్ చేస్తే మీకు అంత ఆహ్, ప్రాబ్లమ్ సాల్వింగ్ స్కిల్ వస్తుంది. ప్రోగ్రామింగ్ స్కిల్ వస్తుంది. దానివలన మీ స్టార్ రేటింగ్ పెరుగుతుంది. ఆ స్టార్ రేటింగ్ పెరిగినందువలన మీకు క్యాంపస్ ప్లేస్‌మెంట్‌లో ఎక్కువ రిక్రూట్ అవ్వటానికి, లేతే మంచి సాలరీ రావటానికి ఎక్కువ ఆపర్చునిటీ ఉంటుందన్నమాట. ఈ ఈ ప్లాట్‌ఫార్మ్ కోడ్ చెఫ్ ప్లాట్‌ఫార్మ్‌లో మీకు ఎక్సర్‌సైజులు ఉంటాయి, థియరీ ఉంటది. తర్వాత కాంపిటీషన్స్ ఉంటాయి. తర్వాత ఛాలెంజెస్ ఉంటాయి. మీరు థియరీ నేర్చుకుని మీరు ప్రాబ్లమ్ సాల్వింగ్ అనేది స్టార్ట్ చేసినప్పుడు మీకు ఎన్ని ఎక్కువ ప్రాబ్లమ్స్ మీరు సాల్వ్ చేయగలిగితే మీలో ప్రోగ్రామింగ్ స్కిల్ అంత ఎక్కువ పెరుగుతూ ఉంటుంది. అట్లా పెంచుకుంటా పోతే మీకు ఫైనల్ ఇయర్‌కి వచ్చేటప్పటికి మీకు తప్పకుండా ఏదో కంపెనీ మిమ్మల్ని రిక్రూట్ చేసుకుంటా దానికి ఎక్కువ ఆస్కారం ఉంటదన్నమాట. కాబట్టి క్లాస్‌లో చెప్పిన 10 ప్రోగ్రామ్‌లే కాకుండా 10 ప్రాబ్లమ్సే కాకుండా మీరు ఈవినింగ్ టైమ్‌లో ఈ కోడ్ చెఫ్ ప్లాట్‌ఫార్మ్‌కెళ్ళి లాగిన్ అయ్యి ఉన్న ప్రాబ్లమ్స్ ఏవైతే అక్కడ ఉన్నాయో వాటిని సాల్వ్ చేసి దానికి ప్రోగ్రామింగ్ కోడ్ రాసి సబ్మిట్ చేస్తే వాళ్ళు అది కరెక్టా కాదా అని చెక్ చేసి మీకు ఎక్కువ మార్కులు ఇస్తా ఉంటారు. దానివలన మీ రేటింగ్ పెరుగుతా ఉంటదనమాట. అట్లా మీరు ఒకటో డే 1 నుంచి మొదటి రోజు నుంచి ఈ కోడ్ చెఫ్‌లోకెళ్ళి ఇది ప్రాబ్లమ్ సాల్వ్ చేసుకునే ఆహ్, ఆ ఎక్సర్‌సైజ్ చేసుకోవాల్సుంటది. మీరు ఎంత ఎక్కువ స్పేస్ అందరూ సీఎస్‌సి వాళ్ళే కాబట్టి సీఎస్‌సి కాకుండా ఈసీఈ అయినా, ట్రిపుల్ ఈ అయినా, సివిల్ అయినా వీళ్ళందరూ ఈ కోడ్ చెఫ్ వెబ్‌సైట్‌కెళ్ళొచ్చు. లాగిన్ అవ్వచ్చు. ప్రా అక్కడ ఉన్న థియరీ చదువుకోవచ్చు. తర్వాత ప్రాబ్లమ్స్ చదువుకోవచ్చు. ప్రాబ్లమ్స్ సాల్వ్ చేసుకోవచ్చు. ఆ కోడ్ మీరు రాసిన కోడ్ దాంట్లో పెట్టొచ్చు. పెట్టిన తర్వాత అది తప్పులుంటే తప్పులని చెప్తాయి. కరెక్ట్ ఉంటే ఇంకా ఎక్కువ ప్రాబ్లమ్స్ వస్తాయి. మో ఎక్కువ ప్రాబ్లమ్స్ చేస్తా పోతే మీ రేటింగ్ పెరుగుతా ఉంటది. రేటింగ్ పెరిగినప్పుడు ఈ మీరు ఫైనల్ ఇయర్‌కొచ్చేటప్పటికి ఈ మీ లిస్టు ఈ కాలేజీలో చదువుకున్న కోడ్ చెఫ్‌లో వచ్చిన వాళ్ళ లిస్ట్ అందరూ క్యాంపస్ ఇంటర్వ్యూకొచ్చే కంపెనీలకి ఇస్తాము. దాంట్లో మీ రేటింగ్‌ని బట్టి మీకు ఎక్కువ రేటింగ్ ఉంటే మిమ్మల్ని జాబ్‌కి సెలెక్ట్ చేయటానికి, ఎక్కువ సాలరీ రావటానికి ఆస్కారం ఉంటది. ఇది కోడ్ చెఫ్ కథ. ఎనీ డౌట్స్? ఓకే. ఇఫ్ నాట్ ఐ థాంక్ యూ. ఎనీ ఫ్యాకల్టీ? మేడం ప్రోగ్రామ్ ఏంటి మేడం నెక్స్ట్ ప్రోగ్రాము? విల్ కమ్మా? సో అప్పటిదాకా మేము వాట్ షాల్ వి ఇప్పుడా? మీన్‌వైల్ పేరెంట్స్ ఏమన్నా క్వెషన్‌లు అడగాలనుకుంటే అడగొచ్చు. సారీ?
Like go to the Madaraka campus, just now if
Uh,
record here.
I will take you there.
No, I have my card.
Straight away you will go.
We'll go to City College. Yeah,
Okay.
we have a session.
Sujit sir,
Right here.
for today is done.
Nothing is secret.
Okay.
Tomorrow again for the FBP as told principal sir.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll be able to.
Tomorrow you will come.
I might come.
Yeah, I'll be here. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Nice. సో ఎనీ పేరెంట్స్ వాంట్ టు నో పేరెంట్స్ ఏదన్నా తెలుసుకోవాలనుకుంటే అడగొచ్చు. మీకు ఏదైనా క్వశ్చన్లు ఉన్నా, మీకు ఏదన్నా తెలుసుకోవాలనుకున్నా మీరు ఇప్పుడు అడగొచ్చు. ఎనీబడి? ఈ ఈ సెషన్ అయిన తర్వాత హెచ్ఓడీల మీట్ ఉంటది. దానికి వెయిట్ చేయవలసిందిగా కోరుతున్నాం.